welcome to my quilting life. Today is Sunday, Sew Sunday, where I inspire you to sew on a Sunday. Well, not really Sunday, but any day of the week will work as long as we're sewing, quilting, that kind of thing. Anyway, I'm going to see who's here because there's a lot of people waiting. And I haven't even chewed my mint yet because I always suck on a mint after I smoke. So I'll see who's here and stuff like that, and then I'll update you guys on everything. So today's the 17th? 17th? Yeah, 17th of October. This month is already halfway over. Really quick. Wow. Yeah. This thing only wants to work when it wants to work.
It's very old. Very old.
All right. We got Kim. She actually is not here because she has a migraine, so she had to leave. Heather is here. Telling Kim, sorry. Susan is here. Melina, Nita, Katrina, Margaret, Donna. Oh, that's the same Margaret. Betty is here, first time catching me live. Awesome. Well, in forever. She's been here before, but yes. Delia's here. Susan is here. Debbie. Linda is here. Angela. Jacqueline. Vicky is here. Rowena. Malena. Paula is here. Sherry is here. Janice from Orlando. Heather from Queensland. The other Heather is here. Here for the Fun is here. Catherine, Melissa, Terry, Sherry, June, Bernie, Denise. MJ is here. Irma is here. Shirley, Judy, Jeanette from Quebec. Chloe, Nilda is here. Carrie, Cindy, Joe, Carissa, Audrey, Podunk Purdy's from Indiana. Whoa, it's going fast all of a sudden. Linda from Duluth, that would be Minnesota. Let's see, Sherry's talking. Betty is here. Billy, Maggie, Laura, Rena. Hello. I just named as many off as possible. So, hi everybody. Welcome. So I today am going to do some sewing, but first I'm going to tell you why and what I'm doing today. So on Thursday, as you guys all know, I'm going to chew my mint first.
Okay.
It's going to be loud in that microphone, isn't it? Can't chew it too fast, and then it spits minty stuff down my throat, makes me want to cough. I figure I probably sound clearer when I don't chew or when I'm not sucking. Hi, Tony from Florida. There, that's much better. Now I can talk without trying to hold a mint in my cheek. So Thursday I went.
Jill.
Who? Jill. Hi, Jill. And S. Taylor. I went to the guild meeting. Oh yeah, I can't talk. I went to the guild meeting and I turned in my quilts, and I actually stayed for a class kind of thing too. Well, it's like a little class that the guild is holding about a pattern that they're doing together and so on. I just stayed just kind of as a guest to, see what one of the classes is like, and then stayed for the guild meeting. So I did that and said hi to everybody that I know that's there. And so on and so forth. Well, I turned in 3 quilts. Technically, 4 quilts because 2 of them were big. So I turned in my Cleopatra fan, which you guys know, it's the one that glows under a black light. And then Scotty's choice was my Hunter Star. So a lot of you guys remember back, I did a tutorial a long time ago, a Hunter Star. It's yellow and yeah, he didn't think that that would look good. And then when I finally put it together, he's like, wow, I love this, you know? So he didn't like the yellow at first. He's like, that cannot match anything, but it did. So his choice was that one. And then I entered those 2 little miniature Twinkle Twinkle Little Lone Stars, which I still have yet to teach you guys how to do because it's quilt show season. So I like literally am always so busy trying to get everything that I haven't got to it yet, but I will soon. So I entered all those. And then today that I knew this was going to happen because it always happens. They need more quilts. So that I got a message from one of the group leader or the guild leaders asking me for 3 more quilts. That's right, 3 more. So I will have a total of 6 entries, but technically 7 quilts. 2 of them are just those little Twinkle Twinkle Little Lone Stars. Those are only 14.5 inches. So I will have a total of 6 entries into the show. So today I have to hurry because I need to turn these in like ASAP. And I'm going to put sleeves on 3 more quilts. So they're all big quilts. So one you guys know and have seen a bazillion times, and I've actually already won awards on, and that is my big, huge nuts. It's the Mariner's Compass Star. That big, huge white and blue quilt that's a king size. That's literally 10 foot by 10 foot. I found the sleeve. Yeah,
point out your ribbons.
I have ribbons back here hanging on the wall. That's what those ribbons were for, was this specific quilt. I had to hunt down in this room because I kept the sleeves for a reason, which is good because I'm going to reuse them. So I actually found them in all of my disaster in here, found the sleeves. So I'm going to be sewing them on. I'm also entering my a girl's best friend quilt. And if you guys don't know what that is my diamond quilt. That's black, white, and gray with a tealy green, like blue accent color. So it's all diamonds.
On their last quilt show when we just showed it off. It wasn't for sale.
It was one that I showed on my last like quilt show sale thing, but it's not for sale. It's my personal quilt. And then viewer's choice, which was all your guys' choice, I am entering the ultimate strings quilt. So you guys remember that's all strings. And so you guys were the ones that said, enter that, enter that. So that is my 3rd choice to enter, thanks to all of you. So for a quick review on these quilts, I'm going to kind of hold like a quarter of them up so you can see.
Your hair is looking super cute. It looks fluffy.
Oh, thank you.
And Chloe says she needs some help with horse panels. She wants to know if she can send you a picture and you'd help her.
Maybe.
She's never done this before.
Yep. All right.
How would
So
she send you a picture?
email if you need my help with something. All right. So or you can ask in the group. So here is my a girl's best friend quilt. So this is just like a quarter of what you can see of it. So I need to put a sleeve on this. And it's queen size, so it's quite large. Every single one of the diamonds in this are quilted differently. None of these are exactly the same. The only thing that's the same is what I quilted in the black areas, in the border, and in the second border I cross-hatched it. And then the teal has just an echo stitch all the way around. I think this actual color was called Ocean. If I'm not mistaken. And then the back is just black and gray. So now I have to put a sleeve on this one. I'm just going to put a black sleeve because when I first made this, I don't even know where I put any leftover fabric for this. I'm not sure if I even have any, but if I did, I would be using it. But for now, I'm just going to put a black sleeve on that one. Then viewer's choice was this one from you guys. said that I should enter this because it's so lovely.
Tell them what a sleeve is. Cali girl doesn't know what
A sleeve is a thing that you put onto the back of a quilt to hang your quilt on a pole. Quilt shows. And I'm going to show you how to do it while we're here anyway. So I'm taking advantage of it for a teaching moment. Because this is after the fact. I usually attach permanent sleeves as I'm making the quilt. But this did not work out that way. So this one is also a queen. So here's a quarter of this one. So this is the Ultimate Strings quilt. This one's the one that you guys all told me many times now that this should be a quilt show entry. So that is what it is going to be. And I made a second string quilt in a time-lapse video that all of you have seen, where I used this teal fabric. Well, I looked in my scraps and this is all I have left of that teal fabric. So I'm going to utilize this to make a sleeve, except it's going to be a two-part sleeve. So half of it's going to go on one side and half will go on the opposite side, because there's not enough of it to stretch the length, you know. So, and these are going to get top stitched, so I'm going to use black thread in the ditch to stitch these on. That way with a wide stitch length so that I can take them off as needed. And then this monster is really hard, but this one, it's hard to hold up. But this one already has sleeves. It has two, and it goes on half and half. So I have to reattach them because I've taken them off already. But it was a bed quilt, and this was, this already has an owner, but I'm borrowing it for the show. This one is really hard to show you guys just a corner of because it's enormous. But those of you that are new to my channel,
well, you've made this one, though.
Yeah, I made this in a tutorial. I made this in a tutorial quite a while ago, over 2 years now. So here's the center. This is what it looks like. And it is fully custom quilted. This is the one I won awards on before, and then it spans out into a big, huge echo around the star in the center. It is very hard to hold this whole thing up because, like I said, it's 10 foot by 10 foot, and it literally is as wide as my room, like for real. So, and then let's see if I can't move it somewhat this way so that you guys can see how the corners are. So there's that. So that's what it would look like in a corner.
Angie wants to know if you do your own quilting.
Yep, I do my own quilting on a long arm. I have my own long arm set up in my living room, and I teach quilting here from my house in the living room for you guys out there in the internet world.
And you quilt for others.
And I quilt for others as well.
I've quilted for many people on here even.
So this was the Perfectly Imperfect Mariner's Star. That's what it's actually called. And this has just, it's so huge. I'm going to start with the black one though, because it's a queen size and it's not as bulky. This thing is enormous. So we're going to like throw this one out of the way. Even though that the thing is ready for it, I'm literally just going to toss this like this in a big old jumbled mess with the sleeve out of the way. And we're going to move on, if I can pick it back up now, to black here. And I need the quilt for measurements because I have no idea how big this quilt is. I've forgot over time how big this quilt is. So, Mr. Scott, I would like if you could hold up that end over there.
I just asked you a second ago and you said no.
No, I meant, never mind. I'm measuring it. The sleeve is going on this side.
Heather says there's only 2 years between you and her, but when she grows up, she wants to be like
So I need to measure from that end to this end. And then I'm going to measure from here, because I want my sleeve to start from this blue right here to the blue on that side's border. And then it's going to be just top stitched into the top of this in the seam. So I'm literally going to put the sleeve in this black section, but on the back.
Angie says your so very talented, and thank you for the tutorials and ideas.
All the way as tight as you can get it. All right, it is 89 inches, and go to the blue. I need it to be 76 inches. Remember that number, Scotty, 76. All right, so I need to cut.
Why did we do the 89?
Oh, I wanted to see how big the quilt was. I need to cut a
Yes,
couple.
Heather, I tell her that all the time. Heather
What?
says you need a book to keep your sizes in case you.
Oh, I have a book, but I just didn't want to dig it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut a straight line to start on this. This is just yardage. And I'm going to go ahead and cut off. Oh, how wide was that now? Hold on. I got to just lay this right here. Grab me a ruler. From the black to the black is 5. It was a 5-inch border. So I'm going to cut 5.5. No, because I won't get a perfect 1/4-inch fold under. I'm going to cut a piece that is, yeah, 5.5. 5.5 will do. I should catch it from both sides. I'm going to cut 5.5 inches. And I'm going to cut 2 strips off of here. I don't know how wide this fabric is. Totally not like, I don't think this is regular size yardage. That's the word I was looking for. We're going to see right now. So I'm going to cut 1. And I'm also going to see how long it is. What did I say that other number was? 76. So I need.
Sheila says she was born in Douglas, AZ.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's in Washington State now, but she sure does enjoy your channel.
Aw, thank you. All right, so I'm going to cut another 5.5-inch strip. And I'm hitting a spot on my cutting mat. I really need to get another cutting mat because this one is really cut into. I'm going to sew the 2 of these together. Walmart. All right. But the first thing I need to do is put some black thread in here because I'm going to be stitching it on with all black thread.
Elena says, hey, Tiff, I'm able to sell my quilts at my first quilt show, but not sure how to proceed.
Sell the quilts at the quilt show. You just have to make sure that you check off the box in all your paperwork that it's for sale.
Or did you do that for yours?
Mine don't have the option this year.
Oh, this one here is.
Yeah, no, they don't. There's no option this year for the for sale stuff. I don't know why. I mean, we didn't fill out all the other forms this year either. It's kind of weird.
Did that answer your question, Melina, or was there more you wanted to know?
Was there more, Melina, that you wanted to know? Or did that answer your question? Because usually the quilt shows have... Oops, why did I...
Joanne asked if your Martelli cutter was hard to get used to.
The little one... No, not really. The little one is fine. The only thing that I have a problem with, used to wise, this one is bigger, the 60 millimeter, but the blade bends. So this one is hard to get used to keeping it perfectly steady without any kind of tipping, because if you tip it at all, that the blade will bend and then you really mess up your cut. So, yeah.
Elena wants to know, how does she figure out what to charge?
What you got into it, how much it costed you to quilt it. I mean, there's all sorts of different things. I kind of go by a start price when it comes to how much I charge for quilts. So as soon as that's done rolling a bobbin, I'll kind of give you like a rough estimate. I guess you guys can hear me over that. So for baby quilts, like an average baby quilt, my price is...
They get 20% of what she sells it for.
Who does? The show does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you would make sure you would add 20% more onto your original price. But here's like a general for me. This is just for pre-mades. This price does not cover custom quilts from start to finish. Like, when someone says, hey, can you make me a quilt with blah, 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 fat, blah, blah, this, and this doesn't include that price. But for my average general starting price, a baby quilt typically starts at $100. Then we got the toddlers, $150. Then we get to children's size quilts, like bigger than a toddler, but not quite a full lap. Those are usually about $200. Then it goes, lap are usually $250 to $300. And then when it goes to twin, it starts at, for a twin, $350. Then for a full, $450. For a queen, $550. And then for a king, $650. And those are the starting prices. That's how I start things, so that's the price. And then, I add a little bit here and there for how much more I spent on thread, fabric, time, so on and so forth. So those are my basic prices, how I start things. And a lot of my pre-mades are those prices as well.
If they go on Etsy, they can see prices of
Yeah.
ours. We've dropped a lot of our prices too.
Yep, on Etsy, you'll see those prices. Some of them have been dropped, substantially because not everybody's interested in whatever style quilt, so they don't sell right away. So if you're interested in selling quilts, just know that not everybody is interested in a quilt. It's definitely a smaller community of people. They see one on TV and they say, oh, I really want a quilt like that. That would look so cool on our bed. That's why they would buy it from you. They get on those shops and look online and find quilts.
I've already answered this, but why don't you tell them where's your quilt going to be on the show?
The show is here in Lake Havasu City, November 5th and 6th, 8 a.m. to, 4 p.m., right? I think it was 8 to 4, or it's 9 to 5. I don't remember. It's one of those times. Just know it's here in Lake Havasu. And I posted in the group. So if you were in the group, you could see also in my community tab here on YouTube, there is also a post that says where you can find the information and the address of the quilt show. So, and there's plenty of places to stay here in Havasu because of the London Bridge, of all of your budgets. So if you guys do plan on coming here and you live in the Circle area, California, Nevada, Arizona type thing, and you feel like taking a 4 or 5 hour drive or however long it is from wherever you live, then, there's places to stay around here and you get to meet me and hang out.
What's the name of your Etsy shop?
My Etsy shop? Oh, goodness. I don't know.
Below, right?
Yeah, it's in the description below. It's either, I have too many names. I got Quilts by Tiff, and then I have Groff Quilting. I think that's what Etsy's is Groff Quilting. And then a lot of everything is known as Tiffany's Quilting Life, but that's not really a business name. That's a YouTube name. So it's hard to, yeah. I have different names for everything, but I think my Etsy shop is Groff Quilting. All right. Huh? Yours is underneath the video directly. You're sideways. There's a little arrow under the video.
Share? It's the only arrow I see.
Nope.
Right there.
It should scroll up. It's supposed to scroll up. Oops. I don't know why it's not scrolling. Maybe you have to exit to scroll it. I don't know. All right. I think I need just a little bit more because this is now measuring. If I lay it nice and flat, line that seam up. And I needed 76 inches plus a half an inch to fold under at the end. Oh, there it is. Yes, you guys like how I measure? 37.5 times 2. Ouch.
74.
I,
75 with the half. Sorry, I forgot the half.
okay, so I really need to input another 5.5 inch strip on here, but half of it. I mean, not half of it, a quarter of it.
Joanne says, you're so talented, Tiffany. I recently started watching you, but you have taught me so much.
Well, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to add one more, but I'm going to cut it down to where once I fold those ends in, that this will equal 76 inches. Whew. And then I'm going to get all sweaty because putting these quilts on is still warm here in Arizona. Well, at least like during the day, it's still warm here in Arizona. So it's kind of warm in here right now. All right.
It is.
All right. Now measure properly.
Becca's going to work on acorn blocks while you sew.
Oh, fun. And hello, Becca. All right. I need to fold this under and I'm going to use my roller for this one because I haven't turned the iron on yet, but I do want my measurements accurate. So the roller is a little bit more easier for this because I could just roll it. All right, so I'm going to go 76 inches, technically and a half because I'm going to be folding another border. So 36, right exactly where my finger is, stopping right there. $46, $56, $66. And hold on, 76 plus a half. So I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to put it exactly on the 22. Because I'm folding the corner under so it doesn't have a raw edge.
Okay.
So I'm folding the corner under. And now most sleeves, they tell you to cut, like your guild has special rules or whatever show you're entering. They tell you your sleeve should be cut at a 9-inch strip off the fabric and then folded in half and then attached 2 ends on the quilt so that the pole that they use goes in between the middle of it and you hand sew it down. I'm cheating because I'm doing this by machine in the seams. So yeah, this is definitely, it goes this way, fold it under. This is definitely going to be a little bit different, but this is not permanent. It can be taken off. So I'm going to go ahead and press that seam open, fold this back a 1/2 inch, and I'm actually using my my table's measurements to make sure that I'm rolling this at exactly a 1/2 inch. It literally ended right here at a seam, but I really wanted it to be to length. So I'm going to go ahead and press this seam open. And then the only thing I need to do is take this to the iron and press a 1/2 inch all the way down on both top and bottom. So I'll be folding this side over. At the iron, and then this bottom side I'll also be folding up. This, actually I'm folding a 1/4 inch. And I don't even need the iron because I think I could just take this and do a top stitch around the whole entire thing like I did the last time, and it will look nice. So I'm just going to top stitch this whole entire thing without pressing it. Let's see how well this turns out. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 1/4 inch seam guide on here. And what I'm going to do is, ooh, that should be perfect. I'm going to start stitching because it's going to get a second stitch on it anyway. And it's a temporary. This is permanent, but once it's on the quilt, it's temporary. Folding it in a 1/4 inch and running it just along here. So I don't even need the iron just yet. Just need to fold it and sew it fold it and sew it all the way down, and then when I get to the iron, I'll press it. That way it's super duper flat. That way none of this raw edge stuff comes up, which will be inside between the quilt and the sleeve, but you know.
We have scorpions and tarantulas.
Yes, we have scorpions, not around our homes. They're not really much in the city. You know, it's more outskirts. But we do get scorpions, centipedes, tarantulas, just not as much as you would find if you were out in the desert.
Yeah, I got them a lot more in Tucson, Dawson, Arizona. It's a bigger city, too. We used to get them a lot more there where I live.
I think you need to talk louder. I don't know if they hear you. He said that they get them more in Tucson than he's seen here. We do get camel spiders a lot, though. That's one thing we get more of than anything else. And like whipless tail, whipless, what are they called?
Whipless tail scorpion.
No.
Tail spider.
Tailless whip scorpion.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
They're cool looking.
Very cool looking, harmless to humans, but definitely scary.
Yeah, big and scary.
If you've never seen one, they're scary. All right, so I'm sewing this down. Scott, can you turn the iron on for me, though, please? No, I am. That way I know.
You don't really need iron?
No. All right, so I'm coming to this end. I want to keep that end folded in because I'm going to stitch along it anyway. Keeping it down. I'm just going to move this out of the way and come down this side so that it stays closed as well. Oops, let's put it right here. And then it'll get a second stitch. Let me do this other side too so that it stays nice. All right, now I just need to do the other side, but first I'm going to check it against the quilt and press it. So I'm going to press one side first to make sure everything's nice. And then I'm going to check it against the quilt and then continue on. Whew! It's getting hot in here.
Kathy wants to know where she can get your long arm prices.
In the description below every single video, there is a link to SewingMachinesPlus, and there, if you click on that link and stay on that link while you shop, you can find everything. I personally own the King Quilter 2 Elite Special Edition on a 12-foot frame because you have options 8-foot. Well, yeah, you can have an 8-foot frame, a 10-foot frame, or a 12-foot frame. So, but they have all sorts of options. They also sell the Juki. They also sell Baby Lock. They also sell Handy Quilter, and you name it. They have it.
It's awesome that you mentioned that, but I think she meant your long arm prices for doing quilting.
Oh, for quilting?
Yeah, that's what I think she meant.
For long arm quilting, you have to contact me, but I charge 2.5 cents per square inch. So that's 0.025 per square inch. And then it goes up depending on if you want fancy custom quilting, all the way up to 15 cents a square inch. So that we have to see what your needs and stuff are for that kind of stuff. And I already long arm quilt for quite a few of you out there. So you guys, a lot of the quilts you see are client quilts, the ones that allow me to put it into videos. And some of them that I do, I'm not allowed to post in videos because a family member or something will see it while I'm, while they're watching my channel or something. So some people don't want me to record their quilts to keep it a surprise, but that's what my work is. If you watch the videos, that's just edge to edge, easy stuff. Some of it's custom. All right, let's measure this against the quilt. So I'm going to lay this.
Did they send you batting with the quilt top?
It depends. Some people send me their own batting because they want like Hobbs or something or whatever, cotton something or other. Everybody has a specific choice, but in I don't know how many days from now because it always takes a while, but soon. For a while, I was only offering poly because I couldn't afford to get anything else, but now I will have, whenever it gets here, I will also have 100% cotton and I will also have 80/20. So I will also offer those with a charge uh, with your quilting. It's a separate charge. So for the size of your quilt. I have so much stuff that this is picking up off the floor. I need to clean this area so that all this stuff doesn't end up under where I'm going to be working. All right, and I'm pretty sure this is the end that's getting
And
the
Debbie
sleeve.
Wants to know
It
what
is.
Juki machine you use.
The Juki is a TL 2010Q. All right, this is going to go this way, but I still have to press the top. Oh, it's going to sit in that seam right there. Oh, it's already going to be super close to getting that seam. Is it making it to that seam? It is. Should have cut it a little bit bigger, but I guess I could make it work. I always make it work.
Margaret says that Mariner Stars is beautiful. Love the colors.
Why did this not go the size that I cut it to? Unless you told me the wrong number.
You said 37 times 2 plus a half.
Well, it's not making it
That
so.
was 74 plus the half makes 75.
Because that's not the top. That's not the top either. That's why it's wrong. This.
Tony asked what stitch length will you use?
To put this on, a big one, so that I can pop it out when I'm done. When it's done being at the show, I want to take it off. Because this is my personal quilt. I mean, it doesn't matter if I have a sleeve on it, honestly, for me. But I probably could leave it on if I wanted. Okay, this is the side it should land on. All right, let's try this all over again. This is supposed to land right here. Just like this. And it should land in that stitch all the way down to the other side. And that should be black thread the whole way on the front side as well. We're going to see, because it should be the right length now. Yep, I just need to come over about it. I don't know, a tiny, tiny bit. All right, I'm going to leave this bottom edge raw because unfortunately, I think I'm cutting it a little too close. What I'm going to do is start pinning it on where I want it to be. Right here. And I'm going to sew the top part on first. So let's get my bazillion pins and start pinning it in place. And I want my pin heads not near where I'm going to be stitching because I'm going to be not trying to run over the stitches. But I want a lot of pins to hold this. All right. This thing is so heavy.
Sue Ann wants you to know that she got to go to Sedona this summer. She said it was so beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, it is.
Sedona is very beautiful. It's
Yes.
a little pricier, but it's very beautiful.
Yes. They have a place in Sedona called Slide Rock for the summer. Oh my God, it's like literally a rock formation in the river that you can just slide down in your bathing suit. Yeah, well, maybe you should wear bottoms, but so you don't get a butt burn. But I learned my lesson when I was there. But yeah, it's so beautiful there. The whole area. I haven't been there in a while. Ow, that went into my finger. This is why I don't pin. I'm lining this edge up of this sleeve with my seam that I'm going to be stitching into, by the way. You guys probably saw me do this just recently to the other quilts, but trying to keep everything super duper flat. It's hard to do that because I'm not laying on a floor in another room, which would probably be the easier bet because that's what I did last time. I prepped it by laying it on the floor in the living room.
We can always do that. I can take the camera out there.
No, this is fine. This will work. I'm just, the whole entire time, I'm making sure that this stitch will land in the seam from the front. Right here is where I'm lining up the edge of this sleeve so that it will stitch right on the edge of it. It should catch it the whole way. And then the bottom I'll worry about in a minute. I have seen some quilt shows, they just hang the quilts up with clips. So, but my quilt show requires sleeves because they have all the fancy hanging, the rods that the quilts hang on, like you would see at a big show.
And look, everyone, Tip is pinning.
Yeah, I'm pinning. It's a miracle.
A couple people are asking what you're doing.
I am attaching a sleeve so that I can put this because the local guild asked me for more quilts. They asked me for 3 more quilts to enter into the show so that people can see all the different styles that I make when it comes to quilts.
Catherine and Sandra, they were curious.
Yeah.
What you're working on.
Yep, just doing this. Got to pin it in place or else it won't sew very nicely. And I will miss it the whole time. Oops. I'm not trying to sew over, ouch, that hurt, over the pins. I just want it to hold everything in place. Go right there.
Darlene wants to know if there's an entry fee for each quilt.
Yes, there is. Unless you're part of the guild. I'm not part of the guild. I should have just joined. But with any quilt show, they do have entries. Some of them are even if you are part of the guild. So it all depends on your local, whatever you're entering. I know bigger shows probably have bigger entry fees. All right, I am going to go ahead now and turn this whole thing over and stitch in the ditch from the front side with a super large seam allowance.
Shirley wants you to know that she's older and quite slow, but she has 13 grandchildren and wants to make them all quilts. She enjoys all that you do.
Awesome. Is my phone ringing or something? I heard it vibrating.
I don't know where your phone is at.
It's what we're filming on.
Oh, I haven't heard anything from it.
All right, so now I'm going to carefully check one more time. Yes, that is the direction it goes.
Teresa wants to know why you're going all the way to the end of the quilt with the sleeve.
I'm not. I'm going to right here. So this whole section is open. I need to bring this side up to me. No, I don't. I just need to bring it up to me like this. Okay. Here we go. This is the hard part. This is the hope it catches.
I hope it catches.
Yep. So I'm going to lay
Oh,
this
you start
flat,
in the front.
and I'm going to stay in the seam. I'm going to change my stitch length to, we'll do a 5, because 6 is way, way wide. And I definitely don't want it coming undone. I'm going to find where I'm starting, and that's right here. From the front, that way I can stay in my seam, and then hope it catches on the back. So I'm going to just do a back stitch right here. And I'm going to carefully sew in this ditch with my very wide seam and hope that it's catching the whole way. Ow, and I'm poking
Tricia says
myself.
I read the question wrong. Tiffany, how come you are not going all the way to the end of the quilt with the sleeve?
Oh, because I don't need to go all the way to the end. Just like the other sleeve for the big, huge Mariner compass quilt, it just has 2. It's got like a, I gotta say it's at least 12 or 14-inch gap between the 2 sleeves, because it's so heavy the way it sits on their like pole thing, because it has to go to the total top pole because it's so big, that it kind of balances the weight out. And the front, these corners, they don't flap or anything when it's hanging there. They lay really flat, so I don't go all the way to the end.
And Eric wants you to explain the sleeve. I think he's lost.
The sleeve is for hanging it at the quilt show so that it can hang. Ooh, look at that, right along the edge. This is wonderful. So that it can hang on the bars. They're like big, huge dowels. Just think of metal pole rod things. You see at fancy shows, they have either a white background curtain or black. Most of them are black. They have a black curtain on the back, and they have these fancy dowel things that come down and go across, and the quilts hang on those. So that is why I'm attaching the sleeve, so that the quilt will hang on the dowel rod perfectly. And I don't do it by hand. Most people do this by hand. I do not stitch by hand. I did the one on the was it not the Cleopatra fan? I did the Hunter Star one. I did that by hand. It took me an hour and like 45 minutes to sew that by hand. I'm not doing that again. I'll just stick with the machine. If I use a matching thread, it usually works out just fine. And it's catching the whole way.
Laura says, I think that's the slowest I've ever seen Tiffany sew.
Oh, yeah. That's because I'm trying to make sure I stay in the ditch the whole way. I don't want to miss it, and I don't want to miss underneath either. And I don't want it to look sloppy. I still want it to stay clean looking from the front, because you're visibly looking at the front the whole time. Nobody looks at the back of the quilts. I mean, some people do, but this would be the
How many total quilts are you entering?
6. 6 total entries, but technically there's 7 quilts, because 2 of them are 1 entry, but they're miniatures. Just making sure everything's staying where I put it. It's still catching the whole way. Look at that. Nothing missed yet. Not that I could see.
Tim wants to know, what quilt show are you entering?
The Lake Havasu City show. Oh, there's a name for it, and I don't have it. If you go over, like if you go to my page, the main page thing, the Tiffany's Quilting Life page, I put the video down and go to the page, and you go home, then there's videos, then there's playlists, and then I think there's another tab, and then the next one is community tab. Go over to the community tab, and there is a post. The first post you see is about the local quilt show here. It has the times and everything. It has the address of where the show is, and so on and so forth.
Eric said it's called Bridges of Friends.
Yeah, yeah, that's the word. Bridge of friendship. Friendship. Yeah, Bridge of Friendship, because we have the London Bridge here. So it's always bridge something. Those are things I don't remember the small details, guys. I have a hard time remembering what I'm doing, like at that very moment. So details like that I don't remember. But it's there if you guys are interested. It's posted there. All right, so I'm coming almost to this right here. Oh, I'm going so slow. And I'm going to back stitch right here because I think that's where my end is. And we're going to look. And I'm going to go all the way down the whole thing and see if it caught before I remove my pin. So, nope, it missed right here. I'm literally fixing the areas that it missed. Caught it now. Didn't miss. Still good. Ow, that's poking me. Still good. Good, good, good. All the way, the rest of the way. Except for right here. Hit it almost. So right between my fingers. So much work goes into this. All right, now I caught it. All right, now I can pull the pins out because I got to pin it a different way. So let's lay it back flat again. Hoi! And I could have folded this under. No, I can't. I'm going to leave it raw edge because it's not going to work that other way. So I'm going to take all these pins out and start pinning the bottom now so that I can sew in the bottom seam. So I'm not even going to bother pressing it because I'm just going to leave it raw edge. I didn't want to, but I'm going to. Should be good. It's only hanging at a show. It's not going to be handled any time before the hanging and stuff, so.
Joanne wants to know how you're feeling these days.
I'm typically tired on a daily basis, but that's only because my medicine makes me tired all day. Other than that, I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm keeping busy, ignoring life, like pain problems and stuff, and just doing me, being me as much as I can, making videos and entertaining all of you as best as I can. All right, so I'm just reversing the way the pins go so that I can make sure that this side stays down and flat. Normally I would give it a little bit of a pop, like I would fold it just a little so that it kind of has a little sag to it, but I'm actually not going to do it with this quilt because I didn't cut myself enough room in this hurry of attaching it. So I'm just going to make what I do work. Last night I went and sat in the hot tub to cure my neck pain, and now I'm making it all hurt again.
Eric says your medication must really be affecting you because one, you're sewing slow, and two, you're pinning.
Yeah. I have to pin though, Eric. I do, because if not, this will just roll up and cause a disaster under here. Almost to the end. All right. Oops. It's not going to work right there. No, go. As long as this side stays down, that's all that matters. And I didn't get to fold it the way I wanted, but that's okay.
Brenda asked what you're working on.
Sleeve for my quilt show entry. All right. Here we go for number 2. I need to, again, turn the whole thing. So I'm just gonna turn the whole thing again, just like this. And now I'm gonna sew into that bottom seam. So this seam right here next to the lower side. So I just hooked the top, now I'm gonna hook the bottom. And it lands right here at this edge. So I know I just start right here at this edge. All right, here we go. Let's make sure it's going where it's supposed to, and sew very slow again. I probably will only get one sleeve attached right now for this video because these are heavy and require a lot of finagling. But this is way faster than hand sewing, that's for sure. All right, here I go. Slow and steady wins the race.
Ava asked, how big is the quilt you're working on?
This is 80 something by 90 something, or maybe 80 something by 100. I don't know. I don't remember. We just measured the one side. It's queen size. That's all I know. That's how big it is. Because this is my own personal queen quilt that I'm so scared to put on my bed because of my cat.
Christine says, thanks for sharing your quilt show experience.
Yep, and I do this every other year because every other year is a big show. But I'm going to start entering fairs and so on and so forth, not just regular quilt shows. I'm going to start entering fairs. So, because my next town over in Kingman, they have the fair and they have a quilt section. So I'm going to start entering that too. I just haven't like spread out of town because I never leave town. So I haven't done anything other than in Havasu. And I'm afraid to send my quilt across the country because I feel like I won't be able to go to those shows, you know. I can mail it and they mail it back when it's, you know, over, but I don't know. To me, I want to be able to go see it hanging in person and get my own feeling. Like, I did that? I submitted it to this show? How awesome. And then look at all the other quilts.
Catherine says, I only just subscribed to this channel in the last week or so. Your work is beautiful and your chats are so helpful.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Welcome everybody that's new. Huh? I don't remember the name within 5 seconds of you saying it. Catherine, welcome.
Kim says, Quilt Las Vegas 2022 is in April 15th to 16th.
I'll have to, I won't remember it at the end of this chat, so I'll have to rewatch my own video to remember. But I can go as far as Vegas. I can go to California, like certain areas in California, like San Diego and stuff too, because it's not far. It's like 4 hours or something like that. I'm hoping this catches the whole way because I really don't want to have to go back again. This one's a little bit harder because it's a little bit further in. All right, and this one lands right here at this edge, just like that. All right. Did it catch all the way? All the way? Yep, 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 yep. And yep. All right, look at that, guys. And just like that, I have now put a sleeve on here that should be nice and sturdy to hang for 2 days on a rod. All All right, so I'm just going to pop all these pins out and show you
Nilda says, how do you call your quilt?
how.
What does she mean?
What do I call my quilt? This quilt is called a girl's best friend because it's diamonds. And I mean, what woman doesn't love diamonds? So that's why I named it what I named it. There's actually a tutorial 3 or so years ago of me making this. I think it's quilt number 4 or 5 or something like that of what I made. I think it's 4. It's not very good. My video quality back then really sucked. So unless you're really willing to sit and learn, I mean, I do describe things as I go. So, all right.
So Ann wants to know if I still press with squeak.
Yes. So I'm going to stick my hand in this so that you can see. So my hand is in the holder, okay? So this is what the sleeve looks like. The rod that they hang it on goes through here, and then it holds up on this thing up high like this. And this one will have a little bump at the top, but I don't care when it's hanging. That'll be fine. But the sleeve is now connected, top and bottom. It should be good. It's a very wide stitch length, so I can just pop the whole thing out or just rip it out. It should come right out. But then if I did it that way, it means I'll have a lot of picking to do. So I'll just pick one and then do my special trick that I do to get it all off of there. So that sleeve is on. Scott, come hold this other side of the quilt, and we'll show everybody one more time what it looks like. So this is the quilt. This one's called A Girl's Best Friend. This is some of it because you can't see the whole entire thing in the video. Every single diamond is quilted differently. And, you know, that's it. So
take this now?
This one has a sleeve on it now. Woohoo! Done. Quilts number 2. My ultimate. How long have I been on? Oh, really? Okay. Scott says I have time.
It's up to you. Are you tired? Are you done? You can
I'm kind of tired, yes. But I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to chop it in half. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do though real quick. This one is going.
Before you start working on it, I want to hold this one up and show them this one too.
Yeah.
I can hold it up.
I'm going to split this one in half. I'm going to leave it as wide as it is because I really don't care. I am going to fold the ends under and stitch it. I have to go find this thread color that I use. Actually, no, I can use black and it won't matter. That's right. All right. So I have 2 sleeve pieces that are now 36, about 37.5 or so inches. I'll fold under these edges, stitch them down on the machine, like on along this seam part, and then leave the outside exposed so that it has a nice clean look. And I think I'll show you how I do that. But the first thing I need to do is show you what I'm talking about.
Here, let me help you.
So here is the quilt. This is the Ultimate Strings quilt again. I need to find the bottom. Can you see a tag down there, Scott? Or is it on this side?
Not on this one.
Where is it at? Oh, it's right here. So this
You're
is actually the bottom. So let's tip that whole thing down to the floor.
I just did it. What's it? I'm holding it.
You haven't touched this. You have to touch this. The sensor.
I hate that iron.
All right, that should now be the correct direction. All right, so what I'm going to do is my sleeve is going to get, everything's going to get folded, and one sleeve is going to go on this side, but on the back, from here to here, and then the other side is going to go from this black right here to right here. So there'll be a gap in the middle like that. So I'm going to fold all the ends and prep this to where it is as wide as this section of black right here. So let's see how much I'm folding it. About a half inch. Perfect. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prep this real quick with the iron. This quilt is now done so it could be moved completely out of my way. I'm going to fold these exactly the same, and I'll show you in a second how I'm pressing them. I'll come bring them in front of the camera.
And this quilt is the viewer's choice one that they all love.
Yeah, you guys, this, last time I showed you guys all my quilts, this was the viewer's choice for quilt show entries. Everyone said, oh, you should enter that one. So this is the one I chose because of all of you as my last minute entry. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this under, about the same exact all the way down. Give me 2 seconds to do all this. It takes a minute to do this my proper way. The other one I didn't. I just sewed it on directly. But that's okay. This one at least matched the back of the quilt because I actually had some of the fabric, which is good. Oh, I am a sweaty. I am a sweaty girl. Whew. Okay, I'll be in the screen in just a minute, guys. Let me just fold this over and show you what I'm doing. Technically, like I said, a 9-inch strip. You would use a 9-inch strip and fold it in half and then sew it on. So what I did is I have this piece. Now it looks smaller. What I did was I folded in this one side right here. I folded in the 2 sides, and then I folded in the other end. So you can see as it's folded in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the other one exactly the same as this, okay? Because when I put this on the quilt, I want to sew it into the seam. I'm going to go into the binding, which I normally wouldn't do, but I'm going to actually go into the binding right here at the top. And then this bottom one is going to hook into this black seam with some black thread. But I do have to go find this thread color because I think it's mint. I definitely don't want it on the back side with a black stitch going all the way across this. So what I'm going to do is fold the other one to match this size. So give me 2 seconds to make sure they're both exactly the same size. I'm not in the screen, but I will be in a few minutes.
Well, your arm is.
My arm is, says Scott. So here's one side. Get the other. And this is never going to happen again. Once this one's ripped off, that's it. Because I'm not going to enter this one again. This is one of my for sale quilts, so I'm only doing it this time. And no, the price is not going to go up if it wins awards. The awards are from me, but I doubt it will. So don't worry about it.
Don't say that. Never put yourself down.
Not this one. This one is not. I don't know.
You never know what'll win.
I know, obviously, but I don't think it will. Not this one. I have a feeling it's going to be a twice on the other one, my Mariner's Compass, because that was the everything favorite last time.
Catherine says that's a quilt. Love it. Wonderful work.
Okay, so I'm just folding this side down.
Susan
You
asked,
can't
how long
even
did it take you
see.
to sew that quilt?
This one, the Ultimate Strings quilt, that one took a couple months because I was sewing all the pieces that made it. I was foundation paper piecing them. So it took a while because I had to make them in 2 different directions. All right, turning it around so I can see this side. Fold it over. There we go. That way these 2 are exactly the same size. I gotta go hunt down the thread though. I think it's mint. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's mint. I wrote it down in a book, but here's my 2 sleeve pieces. Let me go grab the mint thread. I'm pretty sure that's the color. You guys will hear me walking into the living room and back. Just takes a second. I'm in the living room now, going behind the long arm in the dark. Scott's still in there. You can see comments. I'm just going to grab mint thread because I'm pretty sure that's what I used. Hi, kitty kitty. I am sweating my butt off.
Did you already answer how long did it take you to sew that quilt?
Yeah. All right, let's
Did
see.
you do a hanging sleeve differently for home display? Or do you do a hanging sleeve differently?
For home display, they're permanently on. I put clip. Can you see that quilt right there?
Yeah.
Okay, see the top of this quilt right here? See these hook things up here? Home ones have permanent hooks on them instead of a sleeve. There's only a couple of my home quilts that actually have a sleeve, and they're small for a dowel rod. They're not big. But most of them have the hooks because I like the hooks better. I like that stuff. I just like the way it looks when they hang on the wall, you know? I don't know. Just looks nice to me. All right. I'm going to...
Catherine asked, was it hard to pick colors?
For the quilt?
Yeah.
Like to quilt them? Yeah, kind of. Sometimes.
I don't know the colors to make the quilt, to make the top, to make the back. I don't know. She said, was it hard to pick colors?
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's not.
That's one thing you're always good at is colors.
Yeah, I'm really good with color.
She always asks my opinion, and half the time I say different stuff, but hers always looks way better than what I think.
If you heard anything he said, I'm not repeating it all because I forgot already. Sorry, I only have one port in my phone for microphones.
Laura says, I learned so much from you, Tiffany. I've been hand tacking sleeves my entire life. Needless to say, I haven't done many. This is a game changer for me. Yeah, just do it by machine. If you match the thread color and you match your back, you match anything, as long as the color of thread that you use on the front matches the front of the quilt in a seam that you're putting it in so that it doesn't look weird. Because I'm going to put black. You won't even see it going across when it's, 7 feet high in the, you're not going to, or 8 feet high. I don't know how high they're going to hang it, but you're not going to see that stitch that runs in that ditch along that. So nobody's going to see it. And at home, it's the same thing. But most people don't even need sleeves at home because there are woodworkers and makers. Like one of my clients, I also go to her house and use her pool and her hot tub and stuff. And I do long arm work for her and so on and so forth. Anyway, she has these like cool wood things. Or like, it's a 2-sided wood thing. So there's a wood thing that screws to the wall and then there's a cap that goes over it. And it's on hinges or whatever, and then it just hinges down and it holds the quilt on it. And I've seen it more than just at her house. I've seen them online before in pictures. So, I mean, there's all sorts of ways to hang a quilt that you don't need a sleeve. But if it's going to be your permanent, take it to quilt shows, or it's going to a bazillion quilt shows, well, I would say if it's going to a fancy quilt show, I would hand stitch it. But I mean, local shows, if you're just taking it around everywhere and it's going to hang up in tons of display places, this is the easiest way. It's so easy. Kim says I'm making an EPP for a friend and I have no idea how to hang it.
English paper piecing. All right, so I'm going to... English paper piecing? I don't know how I would hang it. Depends on what the quilt is, honestly.
Says what color is the bobbin thread?
The bobbin's still black. I don't care about that right now because that's on the back side. The sleeve will be against the quilt. Right now, I'm just doing a top stitch on it so that it has clean edges. It'll have you'll see it'll be clean edges, so it looks really nice. And I'm still doing my big stitch length even. I'm just making it look nice. Because to me, it's cleaned up. Now I'm going to turn, I don't sew a straight line usually, but I am going to attempt to sew not the edge, but the inside. So I'll have like 2 stitches running down across it, which will look cool. So let's just make sure that I'm stitching where I'm supposed to be stitching, right there. All right, here we go, all the way across, this far. Keep it nice and straight. Don't sew too fast. Right there, stay nice and straight the whole way. I really don't do good with straight sewing. And that is why I use seam guides. There. Take off this beginning one. And so now it has a nice stitch across it for now, and then it'll get a second stitch across it as well. So again, I'm just going to see where that line is right there. There we go. Same thing. Trying to keep it straight. Not very good at that, but I try my best. And I'm going to repeat the process with the second one. All right. All right, both ends are sewn against the edge, and then the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing with this. So it'll be a nice, clean look. This is probably like the most weirdest way to sew on a sleeve, but I really don't like hand sewing.
Kim asked, which Juki model is that?
The TL 2010Q. And see, when I'm done, all these stitches can be pulled out because they are such big stitches. And then I can use these for something else. Or, the fabric, could be used for something else. Yes. Something I hate that happens.
What happened?
My knee lift got stuck and it broke my needle when the thing went down.
Can I help do something?
No, I just need to change the needle.
Oh, well, it is a broken needle.
Just need a needle, which are somewhere around here. Oh, they're in the drawer. Something you guys don't ever really see on camera anymore because I try to not ever let this happen.
Brenda wants to know if you have any idea what the old video that you did the diamond was.
So long ago. The original start video of all the cutting of the fabric is making 4 quilts from 40 fat quarters or something like that. That was what it was called. Pull that out. So it's like 4 quilts from 40 fat quarters. And then I think the link to all the other videos are in that description of that video, but I'm not 100% sure. Because, like I said, it's been a couple years. Come on, get in the hole. There we go. Come on. It broke right at the top, so it's really hard to get these out when it does that. There we go. My nails are a little too long for this, too. And now I got to wipe away all the yuck, because this comes out when I change the needle. This is up against the needle hole. And it's really gross. My hands are now really oily. All right. I'm going to slide the needle in. I'm going to put my presser foot down and hold with my fingernail the needle up. That's how I keep it straight the whole time because my fingers are slippery. Okay. So it should be there. I'm going to hand crank it down to the hole.
Andy says good job.
I'm going to bend it with my finger just a little bit, not break it, but bend it a little because it needs to be center of the hole. And now it is. I'm going to tighten it finally. Oops, wrong way. I did it again. All right. And here's my broken needle now. Because my knee lift hit as my foot was, as my pedal was still going up and down. So just watch for that.
It happens.
It does happen. I usually pay attention, but it happens. I'm not the only one it happens to. All right, now I was sewing this side now. Okay, there we go. I'm going to sew this one down with a nice fresh needle. It should go nice and smooth. And I am not going to use my knee lift. Or at least touch it while I'm sewing. Now I'm using it. Do not touch it while sewing. All right, so that is sewn. Now we just need to line it up onto the quilt and pin everything down. And when I top stitch, this is the top color, this green, they're mint, which is going to be stitched into the binding. And then the bobbin is black, so I'll just put the black back on after the screen. I'm going to sew the top part first. Then I'll put the black back on, and the bobbin's already black. So, okay. Now I got to make sure that this is the top again because I don't want to screw this up. Where's the tag?
Should be on your side at the bottom. Actually, no, it should be on this side. This side at the bottom. Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do is one sleeve is going to go on this side, and I'm going to see.
Brenda says yes, that was the name of it. She says I found it. You did it 3 years ago.
Yep, I
That's
knew it was a
awesome,
while
Brenda.
ago. I'm going to stick this right up here, right there, and I'm going to start pinning this in place. So I have it, the sleeve is being lined up on this back side with the binding, with the where my binding stitch is, and then the side is lined up with the black right here. So if I stuck my finger on this right here, it'd be the edge of this. So that way the starting point is down here. And that's about it. So I'm going to make sure that the top of this sleeve covers the top of the line that my binding always makes. Like I told you guys before, when you stitch your binding on by machine to the front, when you roll it to the front, you'll always have a stitch line across here unless you're stitching in your ditch from the back and then trying to catch the front. But my binding, I stitch from the front. So I always have a stitch line all the way around, which is working perfect because it's going to line this up.
I told her she wins the hide and seek video award.
Yeah. Trying to find it.
Yep.
Yep. All right, I'm just going to line it up with this edge because I know if I stitch in that binding that it will catch it the whole way. And then the other sides, I'm just going to line up the same exact. Stay flat. Now I just got to re-put a bazillion pins in again. I got to back them up a little because that's way too far in. So on this side will be a black stitch now, but I don't really care about that. And I might even have a lime bobbin or a mint bobbin. I can look. just in case, because having two of the same color might make it look even better. But I'm ripping it out, so it really don't matter when I'm done with the show.
Maybe somebody will want it at the show and they won't care that it had sleeve. Maybe they'll want to hang it out.
I doubt that.
You never know.
This is a bed quilt, through and through.
It is, but still, you never know.
But it was my viewers' choice to put it in the show, so everybody got a choice. I got a choice of a quilt. You guys got a choice of a quilt. Scott got a choice of a quilt. And then there's ones that I made specifically for shows. Okay. 2 more pins. 1 more pin. All right, I'm going to put the other one on the other side now before I do anything. We're just going to lay that right there. Grab this. Oops, I'm going to take that long thread off of there. Go like this on this side. I'm going to see where my end is for the edge of this right here. Making sure that that lines up with it. And then I'm going to start pinning it along the top. Just like the other side. But now I'm going in this way. So the sleeve will have a gap. And I'm just lining this top of this fold up with the binding. Because I'm going to be stitching from the front side in the binding. Which, again, I wouldn't normally do, but that's just the way this one is going to land. And it works. What time is it?
6:27.
Because Terry's going to come over around 6:30 after 6:30 and drop me off some more papers.
Oh, okay.
For the show.
Well, Joanne wants to know, how did you get started quilting? I think
All
I
right.
heard you say you had no experience to begin with.
I had no experience. I knew how to use a sewing machine, but I kept forgetting how to thread it. I had issues with that. But one day I was searching online. I don't know what I was even looking for. It's not like I said, hey, what does a quilt look like? Or how to make a quilt. I didn't type that in. I was actually looking for something else, and I ran across a picture of a quilt. And I said, oh, I can make this. I showed Scott I was like, I can make this. And then I went into the garage. I had tons and tons of sheets, lots of sheets. And I had my old brother's sewing machine. Technically, I had 2 of them, but one of them worked better than the other. And I pulled that out, and I forgot a bazillion times how to thread the stupid thing, but I finally figured out how to thread it. I pulled out some old thread, chopped up the sheet into a bunch of squares, and then it was a stripe sheet anyway, so I just chopped it into a bunch of squares and then sewed them back together again. I didn't know that there was such thing as a 1/4-inch seam. I didn't know any of this, and this was 6 years ago. I was in my wheelchair when I started, and this has been my therapy to the point where I've only been in my wheelchair like 3 times since. I mean, I was still in it for, 3 years that time, but I've only been in the wheelchair, using the wheelchair since with my MS 3 times since I got out of it from starting quilting. So that is why I am a quilter, because it keeps me out of the chair. I'm also going to add some pins on this side real quick.
Will they judge the way you do the sleeve?
Nope. They could care less how I'm putting my sleeve on, as long as it's a sleeve and it's not pinned on with, like, what is it called? Safety pins. Because they don't want safety pins. They want it actually sewn onto the quilt. That is the only rule.
Kathy wants you to know she just had elbow surgery to repair pinched nerves. Hope she will be able to get some feeling back in her hand because she wants to try quilting herself.
Awesome. Yes. Get back to it. Surgery is hard. And I started, after I had my carpal tunnel surgery, I was jonesing. So what was I doing? I was quilting left-handed and blindfolded. So if you guys are new to my channel and haven't seen that yet, I can quilt left-handed and blindfolded on my long arm.
Yes, there's a video of it.
Because I could not wait to get back to quilting. I couldn't use the rotary cutter except for with my left hand, but I had no pressure with my right hand after my surgery. But let me tell you, I found ways around it because I still got up and did things. So don't let surgery hold you back. As soon as you heal, get back to it. All right, here we go. I'm going to sew into the binding first. So I'm going to bring this over to me. Oh, whoa.
That was a fun video.
I'm pretty sure I have a mint. Let's look, because if I do, I can just put all mint so that it looks nice and clean. I don't always have pre-wound bobbins of these colors, but here it is right here. Mint. It's not a full bobbin, but it'll do. Put that there. This stuff here. Here we go. I'm going to change the bobbin to the mint and run this through. I still need the black though, again for the next one, but that'll be fine. This top one can have mint going both ways. It'll look cleaner. Oops. Down. No, no, no. My little chingy fell out. Hold on. I was wondering why the bobbin was so loose in there. A little magic bobbin genie. I have a bobbin genie in here. They don't work for my long arm, but they do work for this. All right. I gotta flip it now. And not poke myself. So I have the quilt actually laying on my lap just right so that I don't poke myself. I'll lay this here. I'm going to find my start and I'm actually going to sew in the binding. So on my binding stitch, I'm going to sew in it. Right on that. And I'm going to hope to God that it lands right on that stitch the whole way down. Here we go. Starting right here. Back stitch. All right. Let's see if I can't get this right there. Nicely. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. All this being under quilts is making me so wet.
Yeah.
This one has polyester in it, but my other one had cotton in it, 100% cotton. And I was still sweating under it. I don't care what anyone says. They both feel exactly the same when you're already hot from doing this. All right, let's make sure. Oh, yes, it's catching it beautifully. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You mean Terry's coming?
Terry.
Yeah. As soon as I'm done with this now. Okay. Now that I started, I might as well keep going.
Might as well.
All right, I'm just going to keep checking, making sure. I know it's landing at least somewhere on there. As long as it's landing in my binding stitching. I could tell I don't sew straight lines because it's kind of like little waves. They're not like what I just did with my hand like that, but there's just slight waves and adjusting that I'm trying to follow. I definitely do not sew a straight line. No matter what I'm doing. I don't think any of us do. It's so hard. I'm hoping that the quilt isn't rubbing against the microphone either, guys. Sorry if it is.
Okay, I am late. What happened to your fingers?
Nothing happened to my fingers. Somebody's probably talking. Yeah. Okay, now I caught this one. Ah, shit. Shoot. Hold on, guys. I gotta pick a stitch. It folded because I wasn't paying attention as I was going across.
What type of MS do you
I have secondary progressive MS. Okay, I gotta go back a little. I also got a back stitch right here in case when they are loading it, that it doesn't like grab it funny and mess it up. Picking all those stitches out anyway. All right, back to this side now and back stitch. All right, now I can continue on down.
She hits RRMS.
Right, relapsing, remitting? Yep. I'm always in an attack, and I hate it, and then I have attacks on attacks. But I live with it. I'm just glad I can get up and move around and still quilt. I do have my days, though, let me tell you. Not every day is a breeze like today. I have been busy all day, but I won't tell you guys because you'll find out tomorrow what I've been doing today. I've just been so busy. I'm a little busy bee right here. Trying to find my stopping point. All right. Snip away wild thread. And I got hiccup all of a sudden. Snip away wild thread.
Karen says her sister has MS also.
Wow. I'm the only one in my family. Because it's not really genetic, but it happens. You know, some people, more than one family member will have it. But yeah, I'm the only one. All right, so now I have the top sewn on, so I can actually remove all these killer pins. I'm telling you, they're out to get me. All right, so the top section is sewn. So all these pins can come out. Just gonna stick them right here for a second because I don't know where my thing is. Oh, there it is. We're gonna stick these back in their little container or else I make a big mess. And now I'm going to, as I'm taking them out, I need to find where the bottom is going to land now. And I actually do not have a stitch in the ditch reference on this quilt. So I actually have to pin and guess where it's going to land. So it's going to be this seam right here is going to be my stitch in a ditch seam. So the bottom part, not the top. So what I got to do is adjust this where I think it's going to land. I'm just going to take all the pins out for now because I have to do a lot of adjustments here to make this look right. Okay, so that's really going to go about right here. So this one's going to have the lip that I like it to have. That way it doesn't have a bump on the front of the quilt. It doesn't stick out like there's a pole behind it. So this one will get a lip and it'll look just the goodness will take up. So we're going to figure out where that's going to lay and start pinning it, I think, from the, I don't know how to even do it from the front. I'm just going to do it from the back. Let's get this side out. Next time I enter a show, I think I'm just going to make it that it's a permanent show quilt. So that it's permanently on here and it's not something I need to rip out. Make it easier for myself. All right, I'm going to start with this one. Let's see where that mark is. From the front, that seam is... Maybe I could put a pin in the seam. That way I could find it. How about that, guys? Might be a smart idea.
That is.
I'm going to have a pins on the front side in the seam sideways out to the other side of the seam. And then I'll just make sure that the sleeve covers down below these markings because the pin I can see on the back. This was smart. Tiffy's thinking. I'll put my thinking cap on. Keep going. Still more to go. So I'm going to have a marking now. Instead of marking it and getting it wrong. All right, keep going. It's still about right there. So 2 more pins. So I have more chances to poke myself. Oy, oy, oy. And ow.
Janice asked, with the lip, won't it make the pole show above the quilt, or does it matter?
You mean this show above the quilt? No, it won't. It'll hang just right. So as long as this bottom piece is below my pins, I have pins now, markings. It's my marking. Now I can just make sure that this sits below those. I'm going to start hooking all these pins on. I'm going to go ahead and mark this side too. That way I have it all ready and I could just go across it with ease.
That sounds like a good idea.
So again, let's take a couple of these out. Find where I'm going to be starting over here. Right there. Now it should be just fine. I did hang one a little too low on my Cleopatra fan quilt, but on my pole it doesn't, it hangs above, but the ones that the quilts hang on at the quilt show, those poles are like that wide, and my one here at home is like that. So it has a lot more. Mine just pulling it up because there wasn't enough pole filling in the sleeve.
Elizabeth says hello. She's working on the binding her quilt. She says she can't thank you enough for your advice last week.
Oh,
she enjoys
awesome.
Your channel videos a lot.
Well, thank you for watching, and I'm glad I could help. All right, so let's put a few more in. As long as I know where the seam is that I'm going to be stitching in, and I will pull these pins out before I start stitching. I just need to be able to pin the opposite side, you know. I just need to be able to pin this side first. So these are covering that pin. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a lip. Make sure that it's passing that seam. And it is. And I'm going to start pinning it. Same way I've been doing this whole entire time.
Emily says, I wish I was brave enough to enter something. I will live vicariously through you.
Oh, you don't have to be brave to enter. Quilt shows are just, especially local ones, they're just for you to hang so that other people in the community can look at the quilts and get the general idea on how to make them, whether they want to try or not on their own. So the more people that hang their art up in a quilt show, the more chances we will have more new quilters out there in the world. Because they're going to get excited and be like, oh, I want to make something like that. You know? Like, you know, it just, and then obviously for those that aren't thinking those things in their head that they want to make it, then it's pretty much an art show and you're showing off all the different designs that people can make with fabric to other people. Because everybody is interested, even the non-quilters go to quilt shows just to see the beautiful quilts that are hanging. So it does not matter if it's what you think is show quality or not. Show quality is for people entering Houston shows trying to win that $10,000 award or whatever. I think it's like 5,000, but whatever, and the prizes and stuff. That's not why I'm entering. I'm not after the prizes. I'm after the fun of the show and seeing all the quilts hanging up. Plus, I get my name out there. This is how I get my name out there for me. All right, so that one is in. I'm going to move these front pins because I don't want to poke myself the opposite direction.
That's a good idea.
I know where I want everything to land. It's already pinned down that way now. I mean, this is a lot of pinning. I never do this much pinning, especially in one video. This is the all pin video. All right, that one's pinned down. Now, let's do this side. So I'm going to flip it up, find where my end is. That's where I want it to land. That's where I want this pin to be. There. And now I'm just pinning every couple inches. Just making sure that that bottom of this sleeve is right over that silver part where I put those pins in that seam to get the idea of where it was. That way I didn't need to chalk mark anything. This was actually a lot easier. I'm also not pinning along the edge. I'm pinning up from it, at least like a half an inch, half an inch, somewhere around there, because I don't want to stitch over, because these are on the blind side, which is the feed dog side, and I don't want the feed dogs catching the pins. And I don't want to break any more needles. I already broke one today.
Yeah.
I don't need to break any more today.
That is true.
All right. A couple more pins. Oh my goodness, come on. There we go. That one hurt. You'd think I'd be used to it, but it's different than the pins and needles you fill with MS in your body. When you actually stab yourself with a real pin, it actually stings. And it makes you bleed. All right. Oh, wait, I got to pull those front ones out before I stab myself in two directions.
I thought you just did that.
I did on that side. I didn't do it on this side.
You need a hand.
Nope.
One more that I can see. Oh, there's more than one.
Oh, there's more than one. The purple one was almost hiding in the purple, though. All right. Got them all. All right. Now I can't run anything over. Here we go, guys. I need the black thread now to be my top thread. That way, I don't have anything impeding in the fact that this is not quilted with any stitch in the ditch. It's an all over meander. So I'm just going to thread the black into the machine and get this sewn on. And then I'll only have one quilt left to do. And those sleeves are pre-made, so I just need to pin them in place. Here we go. Let's find the end, which should be this side. Goes in first. This side goes on my lap. And I'm stopping. I don't even know where. All right, here we go. So I have green in the bottom and black on the top. I'm going to start right here because that's where my sleeve ended up.
Janice asked, what kind of thread do you use?
All different kinds, but I was using Quilts for the longest time, but for some strange reason, I can't find it online at the price that I need anymore. So I just buy like from Superior Threads or wherever, Wish, I like to shop on Wish. Wish actually has good quality thread, guys. Just have to go on it. Some people are like, the wait is too long. Well, Wish actually has stuff already in America now these days, or whatever country you're in. So when you shop on Wish, you can get your product in under 2 weeks because they have, quicker shipping now. They worked out the kinks on their website. But yeah, Amazon, eBay, wherever we find cotton thread as a deal, Scott will look it up if I need a specific color, for something. So, yeah. I use all sorts of threads. I mean, nothing specific.
Most of that thread from Walmart?
Yeah. These are Glide. These are from the Glide. And no, Scott, they're not. Not these ones. These ones are from Wish.
Oh, okay.
This black.
I didn't know. So I was asking.
All right, so I'm just stitching in this ditch. There's never been a stitch in this ditch, but it's black, so it's hidden, and when it's hanging up there, nobody's going to know. And this is a puffy quilt too, so it's definitely going to shift on me quite a little bit. It's going to end right here. Because I'm not using a walking foot. I'm not trying to make it where you see the stitch. And I'm sorry if my microphone rubs against the quilt. I don't mean for that to happen.
Shirley asked, are you using a stitch in the ditch foot, or are you winging it?
Just winging it. There's a foot on here, but it's not like a walking foot or anything, and I'm not trying to purposely use some weird foot. I'm just looking at the needle and the seam and lining them.
You actually don't like doing stitch in the ditch, right?
Yeah, I'm not very good at stitch in the ditch at all. Even on the long arm with rulers, I still am not good at it. All right, I'm going to right here. For some reason, that's one thing. When you guys, anybody that's ever gotten custom quilting from me, if you really look at my stitches, they're never in the ditch. I don't know why I can't do it. It's just, I try my hardest, but I can't. I'm not great at it. That's my one downfall.
And it says, I heard Glide is real good. Does
Yes.
it have a lot of lint in the bobbin?
No, it does not. It is virtually lintless. You guys want me to be honest? I never clean the bobbin area of my long arm. And when I do, it's my once a month full on vacuuming of everything. And then every quilt, when it's over, I just sweep it out with the little thingy. But I never have to go in there and like super clean it because there's no lint under there. And that's because I use Glide the whole time. All right, now I got to see where this other one starts. So give me a second. I got to grab it with my finger.
Glide is what you use for the long arm. You
Yeah.
don't use a lot of Glide in here, do you?
No, I don't use Glide in here unless I'm binding. Then I'll bring the color from the long arm into here. All right. Where's my finger? There's my finger. Right there. Okay. Got to keep my finger right here in this spot or else I'm going to lose my spot. I can't stitch over my finger. All right, here we go. Now I can do this one all the way. Whew. Still sweating. Yeah, but Glide is virtually lintless. I mean, there's some lint, but it's not anywhere near what I have from cotton threads in here. In here, I'm always sneezing and wiping. There's so much lint everywhere. It's crazy. I haven't even cleaned my Juki. I keep saying it. The last like 5 videos, I've told you guys I need to give the Juki a bath, but I have yet to do so, and I'm still sewing and making a mess. This thing is filthy, though. Okay. Almost to the end, and then I'll have 2 out of 3 done. Still going. It's in the seam, so nobody's going to know that it's there. Slide it out. I'm going to make sure it caught the whole thing, and it did. It did. All the way across, no problems. Let's pull these pins. That's it. I'm going to be done after I get these pins out and show you guys, because this is a lot of work here. And the next quilt is 10 foot. So that's going to take me a while. In inches, that's 120, right? 120 is 10 foot, 120 inches, right?
Well, yes.
Yep, so it's 120 by 120. It's very big. All right. Before I make a disaster of that, so this one, the sleeve has some room, so it has a pucker room, but as you can see, if I was to roll this up like this, it doesn't even go past the top. I mean, it matches so you can't see, but it doesn't actually go past the binding, so this one is perfect. My whole arm fits in it, like literally. So that means it's plenty good, and they can't complain that my sleeve is too small. And then there's a gap, so when they put the pole in, they need to make sure that this side's sticking out so that the pole can go through this side all the way through, hit this, and then come through this side right here. And there we have it. So that's what it looks like. But since it matches, you guys really can't tell it's on there besides the stitching. See? But the thread matches the back color, and then the front, oops, let's get rid of that starter stitch.
Shirley says
the front,
first time seeing you, she will look for you again.
You cannot see the front because it's black in the black seam, and I almost just forgot what seam it is because I can't see it. And so it's in this seam right here, all the way across. So it's a 2-section sleeve, which is fine. I'm allowed to do that. And then ends, it doesn't go all the way to the end. But if you want to put a sleeve all the way to the end, that's on you. You don't really need to, because when there's a pole on here, as you can see, it's not even bending. Look at that. It stays so flat. Like, the quilt doesn't just fall like this. You need to make sure it's closer to the edge, because if you put a sleeve right here, it's going to do this. But my sleeve is right here, so it's not going to bend at all. So there it is, Ultimate String Quilt. It is now done, and the only one left to do is the Mariner Compass. Ugh. Yep. So this one, this big old bunch, I'm not even going to open it again because it is enormous. So that's what the back looks like. This is the next one I need to do. Here are my sleeves for it, which I could. Yep, this is the back. Anyway, I am done wrestling with quilts. These things are heavy. You know, they're 2 queens and a king. Actually, this is a bigger than a king. What's the next size up from king? California king. So it's the bigger king. Yeah, that's what this one is. So that one's going to take me a while because I got to line everything up, and I'd rather do it on the living room floor. So that's all I got for you guys this wonderful Sunday. There'll be a video tomorrow for you guys to watch. I won't tell you nothing about it because I hate ruining stuff. You know. Anyways, and then Wednesday, there'll be a 25 patch block video. That one should be really fun. And that's all that's planned for the week so far, but anything else is random. So look forward to anything random, I guess. Other than that, I'm going to get off here. I'm done. So thank you all for hanging out. If you don't have any questions, Scott already walked away from the thing. I'm going to go. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, like my videos, and share them with your quilty friends. And I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Good night.